Welcome to another edition of the Exciting Whites podcast. I'm David.
And I am Kaylin.
And we are going to talk about white wine and everything else that's on the table. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. I've been having a week of weather. Well, you and I have both been having a week of weather since we've been in the same state. Kevin was just complaining about it. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
About how poo-poo the weather is here in Michigan.
We had one nice day.
Yeah.
And then crap.
It's weird because we have a really horrible and yet great thing going on in our state wherein it is raining, as you know, really hard all day long. And then the next day it's like 78 degrees. Mm-hmm. And so all of that moisture and water that gets in the ground just makes the grass go pooh, and like makes trees bloom. And I'm sure fruit loves it and whatever up
great.
Here. It's great for all that. But
great for nature.
I have had weed eating done at my home, like each part of the house has had to be re-weeded right after. It's like those memes where like the Old Spice commercial where the guy shaves and hair immediately grows back. That's how the grass is. It's like, and then you look and it's like.
Well, that's good because some years there's no grass growing, so better to have many grasses grow.
There's wolves hiding in it. You have to watch out for your children and stuff. What are we drinking today? I see this golden ambery sort of color.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have a taste.
Yeah,
all right. Have a taste first without knowing what it is.
Kevin is also having a taste today.
I am.
Oh, because
he thinks
sweet.
he might like it. Yes.
Yeah.
Today we are drinking the delicious, and I do think it's delicious, but it does taste like dessert. The delicious 2021 Chateau Grand Traverse Late Harvest Riesling from O'Keefe Family Vineyards. Picked late season at peak ripeness, this sweeter Riesling wine abounds with dazzling fruit, striking acidity, and layers of ripe melon and citrus. Offering a mouth-filling palate and perfectly balanced flavors, this classic late harvest Riesling continues to define our cool climate growing style. Bright and simply delicious. This Riesling is categorized as sweet and 10% ABV. It is produced and bottled by Chateau Grand Traverse, Traverse City, Michigan, and you can get your own bottle if you so choose at cgtwines.com.
Okay. So bottled right here in our home state and a city that we'll be traveling to shortly for our friend here on the show, Kevin's birthday.
We'll
be going to the Grand Traverse area for that, and that'll be cool. So maybe we'll stumble upon this again. What are your thoughts initially on this Riesling?
Tastes delicious and sweet, like a delicious dessert. I feel like I would drink it with like brunch even, or maybe like I don't know why I'm thinking that this would be a perfect thing to have at like a wedding shower.
I mean, it's sweet enough that I think anyone would drink it, but it's not.
It's tasty.
But it's not sickly sweet.
No, I know. I was just going to say the next thing about it is it does finish less like I jammed a Jolly Rancher in my mouth, which is some of the experiences I've had with Rieslings in the past, is that it's just too much on the tongue. This goes down pretty smooth.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. Well, as we continue to enjoy
what does Kevin think?
I say it's tasty.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about wine, but I would drink this.
What Kevin knows about wine is what we've discussed on this show.
Is that true?
That's pretty much about
Well, that's your part of the show is like you're everything else on the table. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about wine, and then we're going to talk about you.
Yeah. I am today on the table.
Would any of you guys entertain the possibility ever of going on a 10-day cruise into the Bahamas and Jamaica and back around to the U.S. Virgin Islands and then making another final stop in Miami, USA?
What's the problem?
Well, you assume there's a problem.
Because why would you ask that question?
Because let's say everyone on the cruise is nude.
All the time?
Well, it's they
it's
do
a nude cruise.
Correct. It's a nude. Would you go on a 10-day nude cruise? Now, a couple of things to put in your head. As far as I've read about the nude cruise, the people on the nude cruise are nude because they choose to be. It is not a requisite. You are not allowed to be nude in the dining room.
Oh, okay.
And you must use a towel if you're sitting on any surface that is public.
That was my only drawback, I think.
Your only drawback
I
is...
just don't want to sit my naked booty on places that other naked booties have been. I just have a thing about butt
feces.
Germs. Yeah, feces.
Your feces on things too, or just...
I'm not really worried about my feces because I'm a clean person.
You're not going to leak onto like a bar stool
no,
after a couple of glasses of wine?
I don't fear my own leakage. I do fear other people's leakage and sitting in it. Or like, like you're sitting in one spot or somebody was sitting in one spot, and on cruises it's warm climate, you know, and people's legs and butts start sweating. You get the butt sweat on the chair, and then you go and sit on it. Of course, it's vulgar, and that's my only.
I've never been on a cruise myself
forever
at
thinking
all.
about like a nudist resort or a nudist cruise. Also, like I feel like I wouldn't be able to really do it with friends because like I would have to go. Like
people you're not going to see again.
I don't want to know about what my friends look like naked.
Okay. What would you go on the cruise, Kevin? Would you go on it?
Is there shade?
Oh, yeah.
My primary concern is I am a pasty individual.
Yeah, Kevin's
and I don't tan.
Burn.
Right. Well, it's a cruise ship, so
it's not the nudity that I'm worried about.
It's his burnt butt.
It's
I believe you could sit naked in the movie theater, probably most of the cruise, and still get served drinks there.
On a towel.
Why not? I don't care.
You could watch Back to the Future nude. You could swim nude. You could walk up and order drinks with your dong just hanging right out. You would do it if no one you knew was there.
Yeah.
At this point in my life.
Here's the thing. Here's another thing.
So, okay.
Here's another thing.
Here's more things.
I'd be fine as long as I was outside, but the minute you go inside, it's too cold.
Well, so I
you can choose
read
to wear
further
clothes.
about this nude cruise. A reporter went to try. He was also comfortable being nude, so it helped out. And he said that his experience there was that most of the people that are comfortable with their bodies at that age are older.
Yeah.
So the first thing that people ask about these cruises is, well, is anyone attractive? Mm-mm. And in his ratio, I wrote it down because I thought it was interesting. He said most people don't seem to be comfortable being nude in public until later in life. So the crowd was older. I'd say 20% attractive, 20% average, more than 60% unattractive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it goes on to say that
that's why
it's a lot of large people because they don't care anymore as much. They're happy with themselves, and he was saying, like, he goes on in the article to say, because a lot of things that people do on cruises is eat and drink. And so people who like to eat and drink on a cruise usually tend to be somewhat larger people. He was saying on this particular
just because
cruise.
you're large doesn't mean
No,
you're
he was saying
unattractive.
on this cruise. No, it wasn't saying large and unattractive. He was saying that in addition, that most of the body types on the cruise were larger.
Sure.
And most of the people were older.
This is what I've heard of from
With 20% being attractive in
people
his...
talking about like
he was
nude
65, by the
resorts or
way.
nude beaches or like all older
Did you hear that?
people. Yeah, he's 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hear what you're saying because you're talking while I'm talking. I
My
can't
bad.
hear you.
This is just what I've heard from other people who have experienced nude resorts or nude beaches, is that everyone's retirement age.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you do it? I haven't heard a decision from you.
I would go. I don't know that I'd actually be nude though, because I'm always cold.
Well, so not everybody's nude the whole time.
Right.
He said that the weird thing about it was at dinner time, some people would be dressed, but it would be women just wearing like the most sheer thing, and like a mixture of people fully dressed, people completely nude, and then people wearing like the most flimsy of clothing at the beach. To me, it sounds fun and ridiculous. I personally would need to be in even better shape than I am now, I think, to be comfortable doing it.
Why? The other people don't seem to
And
matter.
that's because clearly they're
don't
more
care.
comfortable in their own skin than I am. I would feel, if it were me now, I would feel, I guess, more vulnerable on a cruise like that. And I think if I was standing around having cocktails in the sun with my meat and 2 veg just out for everybody to have a gander, I guess I would feel self-conscious
becoming more
about
fit doesn't change the appearance
No,
of
you're
your
right.
meat and 2 veg.
You're right.
Right?
But it being in better
feel like-
shape makes me would feel better about
The meat and 2
The
veg being
exposure.
on display.
the exposure of having it out there. Does that make sense to you,
The
Kevin?
platter
It
presents-
does.
meat
I don't
and
know if I'd
veg.
want a nude cruise to be my first cruise,
No.
but at this
Well,
point
would
in my
you
life,
be
I
able to
don't
go
care.
on a boat with your dog hanging out and have other dogs hanging out and you don't care? Would you be able to be all right with it?
Yeah.
I feel like if it's your first time, there's like a certain amount of like elementary school snickering that you got to get out of your system before you get there. Because obviously it would be mean to snicker at somebody's nude appearance, but sometimes some things are just so like wild. Or on these things, the guy was saying that people just like doing handstands and like people's buttholes and stuff are out, and like it's just like. There's a certain level.
It does seem extreme.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, there's a certain level of like elementary school sort of. Oh, look at that. That you would have to like get.
Look at that
guy's
anus.
I understand nudists enjoy it because they understand, or they believe that clothing is restrictive. And it's, I mean, as you know, I'm a sleeper. I can't have clothes on when I sleep in bed. Because I get restricted. The only thing I can have is coverage. Like, and that's how I sleep because. I used to have pajamas, and they would like ride up and like get stuck in my crack. Or
And I
something.
prefer
I'm
to
like,
sleep fully clothed. Sometimes I'll go to bed in like
a parka.
leggings, a regular shirt, a sweatshirt. I used to like
Like
my
a
hands
full,
would get
one of those
dry.
Russian hats
like
that
a
they wear.
pullover.
She's got one of those on, but with the ears pulled down.
when I'm
It's
cold.
funny though because like my wife and I are the opposite. Like she would rather sleep nude,
Yeah,
and I need like shorts or something on.
right. See, in a bed situation, I feel, especially if I'm sleeping with somebody that I'm intimate with, I feel like, I don't know, I feel comfortable in that way. But like sometimes on the road, when I was in band, I would have to share a bed with another bandmate. And this became a real trial for me because,
You can't sleep.
yeah, I would be wearing shorts and I would be dressed or whatever, and I would just be like so uncomfortable because I'm just used to it. So I ended up like getting my own bed. You remember?
Oh yeah.
Well,
I think my
Kevin
thing
was
is
there
like
for
I
some of those years.
sleepwalk, so I feel like I
Yeah.
need to be dressed because I don't know where I'm going to end up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, but if you're on a nude cruise, you could sleepwalk nude,
Well, in
and
that
you would just fit
environment, I
right
wouldn't-
in. As long as you don't go over the side,
Another reason I don't enjoy sleeping nude is the fear that something will happen in the night where I'll need to go out, like a fire. And then a couple years ago at the apartment complex I was living at, the building next to mine burned down.
Yeah.
And people were running out last minute, like grabbing, their phone and their computer, and they're just wearing their pajamas. They're barefoot and whatever, but they were wearing pajamas.
I'd have had shoes on.
I mean, and it was
You didn't have no shoes or nothing, Jesus.
I don't ran for my
I
life.
done ran for my life. But yeah, I mean, it's like 40 some degrees outside and
Anybody got
raining,
time for
and
that?
they got bare feet and everything. And I'm like, if these people were sleeping naked, they would be so cold. One, embarrassed. Two, and
But if you're a nude
just-
sleeper, you get used to tossing clothes on quickly. Like if I'm in a hotel environment, let's say,
Yeah.
I got used to just quickly throwing on something, boxers, whatever, to cover myself up, like so I don't get out and have a nude experience,
yeah.
But could you do it on a cruise is the question. Not really about sleeping. We got
I
bifurcated.
mean, I could
and
go on the cruise. I don't
No,
know
it's-
how much nude I would be.
Would you
just
be
because of
would you be
my-
topless? Would you be comfortable just being topless for the 10 days?
So here's another thing. A friend of mine put the fear of God in me about like tanning totally topless and everything because the sun can get into your areolas, and as a woman they're generally larger than a man, so they can soak up more sun, and apparently you're at a higher risk for cancer. So now that she's said that, I'm like, I don't know, like that I would ever
Well, you
actually
won't
go
get
topless
cancer.
at a beach because of that.
You're protected because of your vampirism.
Right.
You would,
Wait, my vampirism keeps me out of the sun.
No, it keeps you in the sun because you scintillate. Like
I thought Twilight taught us you just shine.
Yeah, Twilight showed us that those were myths and barriers holding our kind back. I mean, your kind back for years of oppression from the sun. You know, we can't go on the cruise.
Yeah.
What? And we all talk like this.
My fangs came out. I'm waiting for them to come back in and see.
In 1066, when I was born, it was a much different time than now. You know, we
Right.
drink wine out of barrels and casks.
Yeah.
And there was lots of hangings and killings for no
Right.
real reason.
Did you have many wives?
No, I didn't. But I've never been on
So
a
you
nude
were
cruise.
not very
You haven't been on any
successful?
cruise.
I haven't been on any cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Just the one of my bringing my coffin over from the mainland. that
I
one
guess
time.
I would. If it were paid for me to go, I'd definitely go. Would I be nude? Probably
Some
not.
of the time. How
Probably
much?
not.
If you agreed to go and it was all expenses paid,
Mm-hmm.
and people said don't feel pressure, but let's say it's nice out, the pool looks good, you feel good about yourself, and it's not overly sunny. How much nudity would you?
I think
in
I
a
would feel
percentage,
honestly. I think I would feel better about it if I were less attractive.
That's a strange thing to say.
Because I feel like becoming nude and knowing the demographic of the people on that cruise are mostly like 60 plus, and the attractiveness level of those people has gone down since, you know, their 20s and
Sure.
30s. I imagine that I may be gawked at and feel uncomfortable.
So one thing that the guy also said was that with regular normal nudists, there's a policy of no touching or fondling and no like gawking or ogling or like overly staring in a way that's like uncomfortable. And I guess regular nudists, they don't exist in that world. They almost they almost act like they're not nude at all, as far as the guy was saying. It's not a sexual thing at all. Like one thing that non-nudists are always thinking is that everybody's walking around just going like, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't. As far as like, you know, people asked this guy in the interview, and I read the whole interview, and they said, well, how many times did you see people just walking around with a stiffy? Mm-hmm. And he's like, it almost never happens. One, because the demographic is older. So it's
Pharmaceuticals are required.
pharmaceuticals might be required, but also, you know, it takes a little more energy and a lot more stimulation probably at that age to walk around stiff, you know.
Sure.
Unless you're
Also-
Vince Neil.
Even if I saw, and I was nude, and I saw an attractive woman and she was nearby, I wouldn't, without some type of interaction, just all of a sudden become hard. Like, I know people
No.
can do that, but that wouldn't happen to me.
Yeah, I'm
And
not,
even at my
I'm
age,
not
I wouldn't,
necessarily
you know.
saying that even that would happen. Just like,
But it's freeing to be nude. Like, it's freeing. I understand it.
know.
I think I would enjoy
feel
it. Like,
free nude in my own home.
yeah, because you're worried about being looked at.
No,
For everything
even
for
when
you
my
comes
windows closed and shades, you know, blinds drawn and everything, or not drawn, blinds
from closed. Yeah,
closed. I don't like to be naked. I don't like the feel of wind against my skin. I don't like
Some
being
psychological
cold.
something here.
I
What about you?
don't like sitting my butt on a surface that like someone else has sat on.
Do you feel?
I don't
this
even
way?
like sitting on a toilet seat.
I'm not opposed. I wouldn't choose it, but I'm not opposed to it.
Right.
I'm probably like when you choose your attributes on your Sims in when you play The Sims.
you're the only
I'm
one.
the never nude probably person.
There's a joke in there. Arrested Development. Never nude. She's got jean
Never
shorts
nude.
on, even under these leggings.
Yeah.
Just so when they're removed, there's another layer of clothing, and then underneath that, there's like a smaller pair of jean shorts.
I think I would just feel more comfortable wearing like more skimpy clothes, so that I'm not nude, but I just feel like I'm like, I'm
But
able to
would
show
you?
skin
Would you
and not
try
be
it?
judged. I don't know. Probably not. I probably wouldn't
It's interesting, right?
try being. Nude.
I would have guessed that she would at least have gone on the cruise and been topless most of the time. I felt like she would have embraced that because I feel like that would have been enough of that would be like far enough for you to go. I would do it. I think I could do it. Even as I am now, I would do it. I don't think that I have reservations about my own self, but I enjoy having that stuff challenged, I guess, if that makes any sense. So like I can enjoy like the idea of like, you know, I got to walk around all these old donks hanging out. Like, I
Yeah,
got to
I
pretend
mean,
not to notice.
the
It seems
main
fun a little bit,
reason-
like, you know.
The main reason for me is because I feel like I would be physically uncomfortable. Not like gawked at uncomfortable, but physically uncomfortable. Because going in and out, because I've been on several cruises, so I know the temperature
Yeah.
change going from inside, and it's always like a wall of wind, basically.
You're just kind of a
bugs out
worrywart, though. Like, you're
I'm
very
not a
concerned.
worrywart.
Well, I mean, you're very concerned about things.
I just remembered bringing layers of clothes.
But you have cruised, and we haven't.
I
so
have.
it's-
So, like, you know, you go to the formal dining room or whatever, and you'd be dressed up in this dress or whatever, and I'd be freezing my butt off, and so I'd bring a sweater.
Yeah.
Like, and that was wearing clothes, so I'd put a sweater on top of other clothes. Like, I don't know that I could handle being nude. And I probably would be grossed out because I know that people would not be putting down a towel every time they sat somewhere. So, like,
I
you know,
mean,
because people are drinking a lot on cruises.
you would know that better than us, too.
Yeah, I mean, they're like constantly drink in hand. So, you know, I imagine that people are going around wiping surfaces constantly. It's probably an additional cost to those kinds of cruises as well because of the hygienic.
It's between $2,000 and $3,000, and you can spend as much as $30,000 for a 3-room villa
A 3-room villa. They
for
won't even
the-
spend any time
for
in.
the 2 weeks. Yeah, well, if you're nude, you know,
Oh, it's a 2-week-long cruise?
well, it's 10 days, or like whatever
Okay.
whatever the port to port is. But
Yeah.
so you wouldn't do it. You would do it, and
Yeah.
I would do it.
It'd be
Sounds
easy
like Kevin and I
flight
are
there.
booking tickets for a nude cruise.
You
coming
wouldn't
up.
need many clothes.
Sorry, guys, you got to stay here. Where are you going? Oh, it's just a guy's trip. You
A
find out
guy's
that's where, like all of a sudden, like he leaves his Snapchat on and just has a couple drinks, and like, you guys are on a nude cruise. What in the heck?
All you're taking is a backpack.
I'm a real man's man.
Yeah, like, so the one thing the guy did say was that the rules of the cruise and the cruise ship is, of course, that the cruise is nude, but the disembarking
ports are not.
to see any of that. So they highly advise all the nudists to put their clothes back on when traveling in Jamaica so they don't get, like, beaten, like,
Yeah.
robbed immediately or, like,
Right.
chastised by the local populace.
Well, I mean, where are
for
you
just
going to... I guess you could carry a little bag.
a little
Like, where are you
bag.
going to put your wallet? You know, you've got no pockets.
I don't know. If you've ever seen
still
Pulp
wear a
Fiction,
belt
there's
and
plenty
just-
of ways to
and
hide some.
A belt.
You could just have a whole, you could just have chaps
It's like a
on.
tool belt, and I put my wallet
Or
in
you
it.
can just wear like a
Yeah.
Batman utility
Yeah.
belt, you know, it sort of has all this dangling stuff on it.
It just goes with all the other dangling things.
A
Yeah.
woman in Utah bought her husband a set of steel-toed boots, and
nice
then
of
bought
her.
her husband another set of steel-toed boots that they had been going back and forth about which pair would be best for his profession that requires steel-toed boots.
Okay.
And the box that steel-toed boots come in, I guess it's pretty large. They settled on a pair, decided to send back another pair, and closed up the box, took it to their mailing center, and off it goes from Utah to California. Little do they know, tucked inside is their 6-year-old cat.
Oh, no.
The cat gets in the box like cats do. If it sits, or if it fits, they sit. You know, that's how it goes.
Fits, I sits.
Right. So the cat's in the box with the boots laying amongst it. They just close it up. Oh, we got to take those back. Well, I guess they thought nothing of it because they're steel-toed boots are kind of a heavy box. When you tape it up, the cat never meows. In fact, the cat never meows from
You think you'd be able to feel it, like the
Utah
cat would move in the box.
to California. It's returned to an Amazon shipping center, and then all of a sudden they
Surprise.
open it up, and it's like, "Meow," and it pops out, and the lady has to fly with her husband. Think of what a drag this would be. Her and her husband got to get on a plane. They fly from Utah to California.
Can't you just prime ship that back?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Right? They prime
Feed the cat, prime ship it
they
back.
prime ship themselves down to California where this cat is, and then they rent a car and drive the cat and themselves back to Utah. Oh,
Why couldn't they fly? The cat flew before.
the cat. So Amazon was asked, what kind of conditions are these boxes being treated in? And I guess they're just thrown into
Thrown.
a cargo hold, and
Yeah.
they're not thrown. They're stacked, but they're put into a large hold. And I guess they were saying like if the animal wasn't amongst the boots, it might not have survived
Right?
because
Because it would have frozen.
it would have
or-
gotten sub 40 degrees in there, and then sub 30 degrees at 10,000
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
But anyway, the cat was fine, and I guess there was a small tear in the box, and so it had plenty of air the whole time. It just had gone 6 days without food or whatever because they didn't know where it was, so they popped
poor
it up and they fed it.
kitty.
And they found the cat because one of the people that worked at Amazon had this happen before.
What?
Yeah, cats. I mean, you're talking to the largest retailer on earth, shipping millions of boxes per day. What's the chance that a return happens and a cat who doesn't have any vocal cords for its own situation hops in a box and takes a ride? These cats, they're whisking around the country. They don't care.
It's like
they don't
Christmas
need passports.
vacation.
Maybe they'll go to Guam.
It's like Christmas vacation. She wrapped up her damn cat.
Yeah, right, exactly. She's old. She just takes things from the house and wraps them up. Hello, everybody. But I mean, to imagine this cat just sort of cruising about, or imagine you're just like, they're pretty intelligent. Like, maybe like, I guess we'll have to send this, Hawaiian carving back. It's not right, so it's got to go back to Honolulu. And cat's just like, all right. Psst. It gets a little blanket, tucks itself in, gets some friskies for the trip. They could fly anywhere they want, and no one would know. They don't scan them for living life.
For living life.
Yeah.
As opposed to dead life.
Yeah, I mean, living life. That's what it's all about.
Hashtag living
Pretty
life.
amazing, though.
This is my second favorite Ries ever.
Oh.
I think my first favorite one is one I don't remember. I had it when I was like 25. And it was like, so a few episodes ago, we did a hard Chardonnay.
Yes.
The brand at this time escapes me, but
19 Crimes.
okay, that was the hard Chard? Oh, the 19 Crimes was the hard Chard. Okay, well, my favorite Riesling ever was a hard Riesling because it tasted like Riesling, but it also was like a mouthful of vodka at the same time. And I know that sounds awful, but if you're eating like acrid cheese or like really
Why
aggressive.
are you eating acrid cheese?
I meant like acidic.
Oh.
Or maybe like.
That sounds terrible. Like, would you enjoy this acrid cheese?
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Sometimes a word comes to mind and maybe acrid would be the wrong. No, I mean, acrid could be like a stinky cheese.
I wouldn't describe that as acrid.
Well, it's a scent that could be so
I would
overwhelming as
describe
if
that
to
as
burn the
perhaps
senses.
funky.
Anyway, if you're eating an aggressive cheese,
An
I feel like that
cheese.
particular Riesling was strong enough on the liquor side that it kind of like
cuts, like diffuses the cheese.
that was like a
the
13%
thickness of the
ABV
cheese, yeah.
versus a regular
This is
Riesling.
only 10%.
I find it very, very delicious.
That's good. So do I. Yum.
A woman in Florida, of course,
Florida.
just saying,
Florida woman.
has this particular headline attached to her name for life. I'm a mom who breastfed my husband. Now we want a fourth child so we can continue this bonding exercise. You heard it right. This man has grown accustomed to suckling the breast milk from his wife.
Was she Cambodian? Because I only drink the finest of breast milk.
I will reveal that since the article revealed they were African-American couple, but they're contemplating
Does
having
that
a
matter,
fourth
though?
child.
I
No,
guess
I'm
the
just
Cambodian.
revealing they're not Cambodian.
It's a Chappelle reference.
Yes, I
yeah,
understand.
I mean, only the finest of breast milk.
Only the finest.
Breast
Come on,
milk,
brother.
Just all
you
over
make
his face.
my day.
So this guy and his wife are considering having a fourth child, but not because
Just
they're like
because he wants
expressly-
to breastfeed from her, not
and
because
she
they want a
enjoys
child.
it. She enjoys the bonding of it. I guess they've come to some type of like spiritual level over
I think
this.
that's a poor reason to bring another life into the world.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and agree with you for once, and this is without doubt one of the most selfish things I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Tony, come in here, Tony. Tell him why you exist. Oh yeah, my mom and dad had me so that my dad could continue drinking my mom's delicious breast milk in some weird psychosexual orgy that they had with themselves, like with breast milk. Like, can you imagine that one on your brain as a child? And maybe you would never know.
On your
except that now
life
it's a hot-
resume.
So,
But except he does know, and all of his friends know, and all their family knows, and now everyone watching,
if they ever have another child again, you know what's going on.
that it's just because he wants to suck
She
on
wants to
the
be like a
lovely-
milking cow?
Yeah, she wants to be a milking cow.
I mean, quite
He wants
honestly.
to suck on the teat of desire.
Whoa.
I mean,
Who doesn't want to suck on the teat of desire?
Sorry, suckle upon the teat of desire.
But I think with milk,
the milk's gone
Yum.
bad. I
with
think.
milk shooting out of it, there adds a whole nother dynamic to.
Maybe he just likes to gag a little.
Have you tasted breast milk before?
Yes.
You have.
Yes. I mean, apart from being an infant.
Should
like
I ask
as
you to
an adult.
elaborate, or do you not want
Yes.
to elaborate, or elaborate on how?
I guess I would like to elaborate. I I actually have tasted it as an adult because I was very curious of what it tasted like and the consistency. And I can guarantee that was not delicious. It was not good. It's not. It doesn't taste like cow
Did you
milk.
like squeeze it into a glass or something?
I would rather not disclose exactly what.
Oh boy.
Really,
so this is a real. This article hits home a little bit.
It was just I just wanted to taste it, and it was gross. It was
a
real
bonding
gross.
experience?
No,
Did you have a bonding experience?
no, nothing
So
like
you
that.
don't even remember
nothing
this.
like that. Nothing like that. No, it was just not. Yeah, I'm surprised that infants want to drink that.
Well, it's sustaining. You don't know any better.
You don't. Yeah, I guess you don't.
Aren't their
but
taste buds like not fully developed yet too?
I actually have no idea.
They would probably drink all this Riesling and not think it's sweet. These babies,
But
they're
it
crazy.
didn't taste like cow's milk at all. It didn't taste like really anything. It was just kind of slightly bitter and warm and like
So you had the experience and it wasn't
the cow
what you
milk
hoped.
is like thicker, kind of like it's more white, and this is more of like
I've had
watery.
it. I mean, I've had two kids. So I'm not gonna lie. I did taste it. And
It's
and
watery.
and it was in a thing. You know, she would dump it into the thing for them for later in the bottle, and I took a sip out of it, and I was like,
It's not good.
it kind of reminds me of like 2% after the cereal's gone, and there's like that little bit of milk that's at the bottom of the bowl in a little circle, and it's not good. It's like
That's not what I experienced, but different.
Were you
cow.
hoping it would be like a coconut milk or like a warm almond milk? or
Yeah,
like
I
a-
was hoping it would be sweet, I guess. Because like cow's milk is semi-sweet and like
It is, no.
But you
Goat-
haven't drank cow's
goat's
milk right
milk.
off the teat.
that's true.
You don't drink cow's milk anyway.
I don't anymore. No.
So,
I'm just saying, like, you don't know. It's probably a bunch of stuff added to it to make
Could
it
be.
taste good.
right. That's the homogenizing alone changes the consistency of milk a
Does
lot.
it?
Oh, it does. Yeah, the process by a lot.
Well,
And
I'm
how they make-
lactose intolerant, so I don't drink it either.
Even though like last week you ate an entire like thing of ice cream in the night.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
then he
Watching
suffered
Baby
for it. He
Reindeer.
paid
And then
for
I had
that.
poops.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That was a whole nother conversation
Did
and
you
podcast.
see that the baby reindeer woman, like the stalker woman, in real life, came out and is suing Netflix?
No, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, she's suing Netflix for putting too much detail into the show and also saying that she went to prison because apparently she never went to prison.
Well, they changed her name for the.
They changed her name, but apparently, like, she said that there was too much detail in there, so people ended up finding her and harassing her online, and, like, she's been getting death threats and stuff.
Whoa.
So now she's going on, like, Piers Morgan's show.
Well, she's Scottish, right?
For an interview. Yeah, for an interview with him to, like, clear her name and give her side of the story. And
I mean,
I'm just
is
like,
there a side of the story?
I'm like, okay, so like 20 people know who you are, and now literally the whole world knows who you are
Right,
because
it
you're
seems
coming
like
out to announce who you are.
if
on
you just
Seems like you should
Show.
sign a book deal and prosper from
if
this.
you just
Yeah.
if you just waited, it would Squid Game out, and no one would care after a couple months because it says limited
Right.
engagement on Netflix anyway, so it's not going to be up
Right.
for another few weeks probably.
Oh,
I'd write a
really?
book.
Yeah, they're going to be starting to yank it.
Write a tell-all book.
Yeah, that's what I would do. You know, why
Hide the
not?
money this Pope people around.
I mean, yeah, you need that book deal. I mean, if you've done something or are a part of something and you're not incarcerated and you're free to write a book, they write them in prison even still.
Right.
You know, so
But back to the topic, I do see how that could be like a bonding experience, but it seems like it's probably just more sexual, and they could probably just kind of get a similar experience without the actual
well,
milk.
update: the couple has announced that they are absolutely not going to pursue having a child under the auspices of more breast milk production.
Just
they are looking
regularly
to
because
express-
they want a new child now. That's
They are
really-
looking to express their bonding in a different way and just simply stay with 3 children. So that's
okay.
the update on where they are.
Well, that's great.
I hope they seek therapy because that's a weird
Well, it sounds like they might have already, which says
bonding thing.
because I think the article ended with they are seeking healthier bonding activities
They could
between
just
them.
maybe like cuddle.
Right.
So he's now wearing like a fake boob with like formula in it, and she's
Yeah.
suckling at him.
Yeah.
Right. They roll reverse.
Healthy.
Is the baby ready for his nappy time? Is it ready to feed?
Oh.
True or false? Guys, ready? These
I'm
start
ready.
normally, sort of, and then escalate, as always, on the exciting whites into more less softball questions. True or false? And you guys each answer independently. So, like, not at the same time what you think the answer is. You're shorter at night than you are in the morning. True or false?
True.
Okay, what do you think? KB.
Shorter at night than I am in the morning.
Mm-hmm. True or false? Does your height
I'm just
change?
going to say false because I
No,
don't
it's
know.
true because your spine elongates in the night when you lay down and it decompresses.
She's right.
What if I fall asleep in a chair?
I don't know. But I have experienced this.
What if I fall asleep
firsthand?
on the ground underneath a Christmas tree?
Underneath
Then
your
probably
Christmas
not.
tree.
I think it's when you lie down because your spine decompresses. But I have had
What about on a
doctor's
kitchen
appointment
floor in front
first
of a
thing in the
refrigerator?
morning.
Hugging a stuffed animal.
Yeah, probably not.
These
then.
are all things Kevin has done.
Right. Yeah.
It is
How
accurate.
about on a studio cart?
That's accurate too.
We wheeled him out in a cart once. He and I sat
Kevin.
behind we were at this event once, and he and I sat crouched around a garbage can for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real miserable.
That sounds terrible.
But I could
But
walk
yes,
at the end, and he couldn't.
I've
could
had
not.
doctor's appointments in the morning where I'm a full inch taller than when I have a doctor's appointment. It's closer to like 5 p.m.
So what happens is, as you stand all day, your joints compress, and the oxygen between those joints leaves your body. And you are a few millimeters shorter as a result of this oxygen leaving. When you lay down, it fills back up, your joints open up, more oxygen, you stand up, you're taller. It is absolutely true.
True. Ding, ding, ding,
You
ding,
got that.
ding.
Impressive.
Ding, ding, ding.
So if you're in a wheelchair, you're the same height all the time.
I think so.
I don't.
No, because
well,
you would be this
no.
from here to here. You still have spinity that will expand and.
But I feel like people in
decompress, so
wheelchairs sleep on an angle.
why
right?
can't they sleep on their back?
Choking.
Every person in a
I
wheelchair.
don't. I'm not speaking for every person. I've just seen it where a lot of people that are paralyzed or are in a wheelchair full time, meaning that they don't walk, they sleep on an angle with a type of bed that keeps them slightly elevated.
That makes sense.
Something about choking. I'm not an expert, obviously, in medicine with regards to injuries of this nature, but as I've understood it, they do not sleep flat. So there might be a caveat here where if you are in a wheelchair, this may not affect you
Right.
because you're always in.
Therefore,
some
it
type of
could be
seated position.
false.
It could be.
He's just looking for a way to find an answer. How about this? You can sneeze during sleep. True or false?
True, and then
A
it
moment
wakes
of
you
silence.
up.
Wow. It's very rare for this show.
I feel like maybe I've awoken to myself sneezing, but
Okay.
the sneeze occurred while I was sleeping.
What do you think?
I don't know. I know you can do other bodily functions while you're sleeping, but I don't.
Certainly, as we've heard
I've never
them from many
experienced a
individuals over the years.
sneeze, as far as I know, while sleeping. So I'm going to say false.
The answer is false. You cannot actually sneeze while sleeping. The act of sleeping in REM is a cycle, and your breathing is important to that cycle. And for whatever reason, you're just woken up by a sneeze or
That's
the
what I
feeling
said.
to sneeze. Not actually, you cannot sneeze while you're sleeping. You cannot be woken up by a sneeze, meaning that the sneeze happened.
So you get out of the REM cycle and slightly wake up and
Here's
sneeze.
another fact about sneezing. We decide to sneeze, believe it or not.
Huh?
We decide to sneeze.
What do you mean?
The feeling comes upon us, but when you do that hesitation in between, it's actually your brain committing to the sneeze. You decide whether or not you can sneeze. Some people can just repress them completely.
I've never been able to do that.
I have been able to do it in certain situations. I've been in like meetings or something or in public in a situation where it's quiet and I didn't want to like guffaw, sneeze, all over everybody.
Yeah.
And I was able to suppress it. So I understand that to be false because of the concentration of breathing that goes on.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so Kevin's got one, you've got one. Both you guys are 1 for 1 at this point. The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. True or false? The unicorn is the national animal
I'm going to go false.
of Scotland.
But if it's true, that's funny.
That's false because why would that be true?
It's not a real animal.
Well, you guys would be wrong. It is actually
Those
true.
people are so drunk.
The
they think
unicorn
unicorns
is the
are real?
national animal of Scotland.
Because
How's
they're-
a non-existing
they're drunk.
animal the national animal?
Listen,
My horn
Because it used to
can
be
pierce
real.
the
back in
sky.
1066,
Listen, it used to be
Scotland
real.
used to be its own. It ran most of the show here, so you got to understand.
Drunks.
No, unicorns
cold
used to
there?
be real. They
No.
used to
I've
be
only ever
real animals.
I've been to Edinburgh,
They're extinct.
and it's creepy.
No,
sometimes.
unicorns flying over rainbows. It
Yeah.
didn't exist.
Well, I would just say
Yeah.
that. Hear me out. It's
Leprechauns
very
and Lucky Charms.
It's
They're
very
all
dark
real.
and depressing in Edinburgh, especially. In fact, their weather is a lot like Michigan weather. Like
Yeah,
it can
terrible.
be real beautiful
I don't
there,
ever want to move there.
and it can be an absolute
People
shit
talk
show.
about the UK like, oh, it's amazing. I'm like, it seems like it has the same weather as here.
They are
I've never
longitudinally
moved there.
very close to us. Latitude, was it longitude left to right? Right? Yeah. I think both
Longitude
actually.
is up this way.
Lat-
Latitude is this way. So latitudinally they are similar.
Well, the
close.
Earth is flat, right? So it doesn't matter.
Oh no,
Kevin,
just-
what?
he doesn't believe.
I
this,
don't
folks.
actually
He's
believe it.
just.
I'm
being
just trying to
turd.
poke
For
the
a
bear.
minute
Poking
though,
the
I
bear.
had them convinced that
You
I
believe-
We're a flat
thought
earther,
that
yeah.
I believe
the
that
Earth
you
was-
We
are a
did believe
flat
that you were. A flat, we
See,
still
they-
aren't convinced that you're a flat
They
earther.
believe
You're-
I'm a flat earther, and I'm just
You
like,
wanted
no,
to talk
but
about
it's
genetically
funny.
engineered lemonade being pulled at Panera
No,
Bread.
that's
like,
not
or
genetically
whatever. It was
engineered
like
lemonade.
some-
It's super caffeine charged. Like,
Oh.
it's got over 300 milligrams of caffeine in it, and it was killing people. Like,
Well-
people with a heart condition would have one lemonade at Panera and die.
I don't
if they
have a
heart
story.
attack.
I don't have a story for why or how a mythical creature like the unicorn has been made the animal of Scotland. My only hypothesis is that because of their weather and the dark, depressing history and nature of lots of parts of Scotland,
They
that
have to have
perhaps
some magical.
they wanted
fantasy.
some. Well, there's a lot of medieval history in that area as well.
So
but
golf and unicorns. Got
maybe
it.
it's like well, yeah.
Maybe
golf
it was the
invented there.
aliens that
So
came
it's
down.
positive,
and they,
right?
Looked
It's
like
meant to look,
a
or it's just a
unicorn.
joke. Who knows?
It's
but
a yoke.
But it is true.
It's a true yoke.
It's true that that's their animal. I'm just saying.
That's
It's better
weird.
than the robin. Ugh. A cross between a horse and a zebra is called a hebra.
Hey, brah.
I feel like it should be called a zorse.
Hebra.
I like the name,
Hebra.
so I'm going to say
True or
true.
false?
I'm going to say true because it kind of sounds like something from He-Man.
Summon my hebra.
Yeah.
I think it
Have
should
your
be
man
called
bring round your hebra. We were,
Man
just
at
talking about,
arms.
Zebrors.
we were just talking about how there's all these old movies and they're like they have a man who brings round the car. Like,
Yes, I'll have my man bring this car around.
have your man bring your car around. I'm ready to depart.
We had to invent jobs back then. There wasn't enough to do.
Yeah,
So you
I'm
had to have a
employed
man.
at the Reginald estate.
guess.
I'm his man.
It's man.
I'm
My
Mr.
man
Reginald's
will pay
personal
you.
man.
I've given the check to my man. Please see him. He
What do you
will-
think? A cross between a horse and a zebra is called a hebra.
True.
I
True?
think that's a stupid name and should be a zorse.
Remember, the lager is real.
I know.
And
And
true or false? It's just simply true or false. You just must pick one. There's no middle ground. You can't libertarian your way out of this one.
true, I guess. I don't know. It seems stupid. True.
It is false.
Dang
a
it.
male zebra and a female horse is called a zorse.
I'm going to call it a
Vindication.
Hebra. I don't care.
Vindication for the horse. And a female zebra and a male horse is called a zonkey.
A zonkey?
Hebra.
Why a
Hebra
zonkey?
and Hebro.
Hebro. Yeah. Where is the Hebra and why not? You know?
Yeah.
Makes more sense to me.
I don't like it.
True or false? Our blood contains gold.
True.
Yeah.
It is true. Our blood contains trace elements of the mineral gold. How about that?
We come from the stars.
So maybe in the Old West, when her and I were recently in Arizona, they were talking about this. This connects to both the previous question and this one. We were exposed to wild donkeys.
Zonkies.
And these wild donkeys are only wild because
Burros.
the 49ers came down and
The football team.
Yeah, no. The miners were referred to as 49ers for the year. Gold Rush,
Nope. It's only talking about the football team
which is named after.
themselves.
Understood.
Joe Montana.
I get my history from the back of Laffy Taffies.
Obviously,
On
those
this
are the best
day, in this
histories.
day, the miners
And
brought the
Snapples.
burros, and then when the mines would dry up, they would just take all the tack off, slap them on the butt, send them out into the desert, and now it's rife. They've thrived, and they're mean, super mean. Like mountain lions try to take them down, and the kick of a donkey. I think we talked about this on a previous episode of the kick of a donkey being like, I mean, it's one of it's
So they're real asses.
yeah, they're real
Yeah.
asses. Real.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why old cartoons would always show people getting kicked by donkeys.
But I
It's
mean, they'll kill
It's
a
a
mountain
bad
lion.
thing.
If they hit it in the head.
It's a bad, yeah.
You know?
It's a bad kick.
But anyway, these miners could have just like harvested all the random people and got tenths of a element of gold out of each of their blood instead. If they had just known about the process.
Said they created a super
would
race
take-
of donkeys.
How many people
Yeah.
do you think it would take to make a bar of gold based on our blood amounts?
100,000.
You guess 100,000.
Wait, well,
What
how
would
much
you
is
say?
a bar of gold?
Well, how
how
many
big is that?
ounces?
Yeah.
I think it's 100, right?
100 ounces?
What's a bar? I don't know. Do you know?
I don't even
Well, you
know.
probably should know this, but how many people? I don't have the information of how many ounces of
I
gold
guess
is
it
a
doesn't
bar.
matter. 100,000.
What do you think?
That seems light.
Yeah, I
Light.
know.
It's a lot of blood. 100,000 people worth of blood,
Yeah, but
and that could fill. It could fill a few stadiums. No, maybe not. It could fill a stadium, right? 100,000 people.
100,000
No.
people don't fill a stadium.
Yeah, but they're
No,
blood.
it's like 300,000 people fill the stadium, right? Like what? Well,
No,
I
I
guess
guess
it
you're
depends on
right.
what stadium.
So how much blood would it take to make a bar of gold based on trace elements of gold bound in blood? What a creepy question. Or rather, maybe how many gallons of blood,
Sick.
right? You're just having a yawn.
Yeah, wine
It's-
makes me yawnish.
This wine makes you yawnish.
We have no. Do we know the percentage of gold in the blood?
Trace.
It's like 0.07%.
Trace Atkins
Yeah.
blood.
Million? A million? Maybe more?
I don't really have an answer. I just wondered what you guys thought.
100,000 would be light.
Wow, that's
I
great.
think it would be like too. I think it would take so much that no one's ever tried.
No one's gonna do it.
Singer Billie Eilish's full name is Billie Eilish Pirate Baird O'Connell. True or false?
False.
I don't know. Isn't her brother named like Finnegan or something?
Phineas.
So her parents were obviously weird. That sounds like a pirate name.
They're
so yes,
weird?
True.
You think it's true? It is in fact true.
No,
Billie Eilish's
what?
full name is Billie Eilish Pirate Baird O'Connell.
Baird, B-A-I-R-D.
That is correct. I am not mispronouncing it. That
Seems
is her
seems
true name.
right.
Checks
Well, I
out,
mean,
guess,
like you
for
remember
what she
Frank
is.
Zappa's kids, you know, in the 1970s were named Moon Unit and Dweezil. You know, he had a bunch of different names that were interesting,
Yeah.
and he was weird. So maybe
Or maybe
that checks out.
eccentric's the right word, not weird.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to say weird anymore because it's negative.
I don't mean it as a
Is it?
negative. I just
How dare you, Kevin, call them weird?
I'm weird.
I
It's
feel
okay.
like the moment I started embracing weird is when I'm not allowed to say it anymore.
Yeah.
You are weird.
Yeah, I know.
You are a lot of things,
I
but
know.
weird is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
True or false? There are two parts of the body that can't heal themselves. There are two parts of the body that can't heal themselves. True or
Teeth.
false?
Oh, true and false.
True.
Or false? There are two.
Only two or
Only two.
Yeah, there are only two parts of the body that can't heal themselves.
No. No, false.
Okay.
There's like so many parts of the body that can't. You cut off a body part, it's not going to grow back. So, false.
Okay.
True.
True. All right. This is a weird one because the way the question is put in is meant to trip you up. You said false, which is the correct answer, but you went the wrong way with it. There is actually only one part of the body that can't heal itself, not two. It's the teeth.
That's what I said.
But-
Teeth and then you're like true or false, and I was like, oh,
Well, it was. Well, I mean, I
but
said
if
true
you
or false
cut
because
off
that's
your
what all these
arm,
have
but
been.
then
it's
you
not
don't
gonna
have
grow
an arm.
back.
Yeah, he's not talking about regenerating body parts. He's talking about healing a body part.
Heal.
Meaning, like, if you cut your arm,
You
it
have to
heals
listen to the
itself.
words. That's what I'm saying. I didn't say
scabs
like
over and
regenerate.
heals
heal
itself.
is like you're healed. Like, oh, you're
If you
healed.
chip a tooth, it won't grow back that chip. If you crack a tooth, it doesn't heal itself back together.
Right.
It cannot.
Correct.
Right? That's the only one. But you said you felt like there were more that couldn't, and there aren't.
Yeah.
There aren't.
Cut off your finger, it's gone.
No, that's you're talking about regeneration. You're talking about not cut off your finger, but cut it slightly or deeply. It will heal. That's healing, not regeneration. You understand the difference?
And even then, if you cut off your finger, your body will heal over the
That's correct.
severed wound. And
Yeah. See, miraculous. But the teeth
I mean, it might.
never come back. They never come back. The Great Wall of China is longer than the distance between London and Beijing. True or false? That's a great distance. The Great Wall of China is longer than the distance between London and Beijing. True or false?
I started to go like this, and I see you. I'm just like,
You guys are funny. You guys
I'm gonna say, yeah, true.
I'm gonna say false because I don't know. I know you can see it from space, but that seems like an exorbitant.
You might be
measurement.
able to. We don't know. We've never been to space.
oh no. So
Just
just
messing with you.
oh boy, just all of it between flat Earth and. Why don't we just throw some? Why don't we talk about some
Kevin and
climate
I
stuff
watch the
here
same
while we're at
YouTube
it?
channels.
really
I
do.
think we're on the same algorithm.
You and him are the chemtrails.com.
Chemtrails.
The
.com.
answer is true. It is actually true. The distance between Beijing and London is 8,136 kilometers. The Great Wall of China spans 21,196.18 kilometers.
That's
It
why
is
you can
huge, and
supposedly
that
see it from
wall-
But I
space.
mean, that wall in particular, you're talking about the largest man-made
You got to
structure.
keep the
in history.
Mongolians out.
You got to keep them out. The Huns are invading China.
Trump tried to build a wall and he couldn't.
He couldn't do it.
Boy, wow.
Biden's still doing it.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd see
Everyone's
that wall
trying to
from
build that
space.
wall.
Spaghetto is a singular word for a piece of spaghetti.
That is true.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think?
Spaghetto?
The word spaghetto is the singular word for a piece of spaghetti.
Doesn't sound like a nice word.
It's true, though.
Man, I dropped that spaghetto over there.
Yeah.
She asleep on the floor and broke her hip because of a spaghetto left.
One
mean,
singular
I feel like
spaghetti.
Kaylin knows
Spaghetto.
weird facts like this, so
Hey,
I guess I
spaghetto.
will agree with her and say true. But
What do you think?
it seems foolishness to me, though.
Okay, well, it's
False.
true or false? Oh, false. And you're saying?
True.
The answer is true. Spaghetto is a singular form of
It's a
one piece of
nonsense
spaghetti.
word.
No, it's
Generally, Italian words ending in O
O
are
are
singular,
singular.
and words ending in I are plural. Lots of
I
spaghetto
grew up in the
make
spaghetto.
spaghetti.
Yeah. So raviolo, penna, I think.
Wino.
Because penne is
Wino.
plural for a feminine.
A wino is
noun.
one man or woman who
A
drinks
guino.
wine all the time.
Yes, and a
the
whiny is just a person that can't get what they want,
One
so they're
noodle.
whiny.
Spaghetto.
Yeah.
Un
Don't go to the
spaghetto.
spaghetto
I would
Midnight.
name a child spaghetto.
Macarono.
in a pot.
Macarono?
Mm-hmm. Macaroni is plural for macarono.
Macarono.
Panino is one sandwich. Panini is several sandwiches.
But you order a panini in the...
It's incorrect. My Italian teacher for
Well,
the
you
one
can't do
semester
this
that I
linguist stuff
took.
with a linguist. See,
I
it's
took
hard.
one semester of Italian, and she went off. My professor went off about paninis at Panera because she's like, "Why they say panini? It's one panino. You're only ordering one panino, not panini."
Maybe you're fat and you order two.
It's true, but everyone gets. I'll have a panini.
I don't know that you have to be fat to order two because I have...
I've eaten a whole pizza. I would eat two.
My
paninis.
weight fluctuates all the time. Would you eat two paninis? I have done
Yeah, why not?
it. If it's 2 a.m.,
Yeah.
I know you and I can
Oh.
clear some food.
Yeah.
I would do it if it's
And then
just
stop for
regular
nugs and a
dinner
shake
time.
after.
On that note, the Caesar salad was invented in Italy. True or false? I mean, you're making a very moan-based sound.
I don't know about it.
Yeah, true.
The Caesar salad
Julius Caesar
Was
salad.
invented in Italy.
I
True
feel
or
like it
false?
was made by
True from
Little
Kevin.
Caesars, so false.
Really, you feel like it was made by Little Caesars?
I have no idea. I'm gonna say false though.
Okay.
Little Caesar is just his rapper name.
Yeah. All right. So, well,
That's a rapper name.
my camera has turned itself off. It just has run out of room on the road. But
Please
the
wait
answer
a
is
moment.
yeah. Boop, boop. Edit the sound. Do. We're back.
Thank you for
And-
holding.
The answer is that the Caesar salad, it's false. The Caesar salad, believe it or not, and you guys are going to be blown away by this, it was invented in Tijuana, Mexico in the early 1920s by Cesar Cardini, an Italian chef who had
Alright.
moved there.
No, checks out.
Caesar.
Checks out, does it?
Sure.
He named it after himself. The Caesar salad.
It makes as much sense as being
Cardini.
at Little Caesars because it was an Italian person, and it has nothing to do with Italy
Yeah.
and Caesar.
What do you
So,
think about this Riesling? You liking it?
It's nice. Yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One more, guys.
yeah.
Honey will never go bad. True or false?
True.
Honey will never go bad.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's true.
They use it as a preservative.
Because of the sugar and the
beeswax.
enzymes inside and the wax that it's made in, there's no actual wax in honey. There's trace amounts, just like there's gold in our blood. But it's actually not because of the wax that it doesn't go bad. It doesn't go bad because it is quite literally sugar and water. And those things don't expire because they can't rot because they don't have any of the attributes to do so. You guys
Yeah.
both got that one right. That's amazing.
Amazing. We
Honey
didn't
is
keep any
also-
scores.
Honey is also a product made in Riesling. To make Riesling taste, it is sometimes they add honey to the
Yes.
fermentation process.
Delicious.
It's the bee's knees.
Let us know what you guys think about all
Unless
of
you're
this crap that
listening
we've
on
talked
Apple
about.
Podcasts or Spotify, then I guess don't.
Don't
Or
let somebody-
find us on social media and do.
You can let us know what you think about all this stuff, and we'd love to hear from you. We are hungry for your interaction.
Hungry
online.
like the wolf.
We're just so in a drought of commenting and talking to people online that I think I would like to do more of that.
Yeah.
My eyes go blue. And I need my energy, vampire.
Colin
sex.
Robinson.
Colin Robinson, you are a bad man. That's going to do it for this edition of the Exciting Whites podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching and indulging us.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Take care.
Bye.